make a video? Are you ready to make a video? Okay. You ready to make a video? Okay. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Jamie Lynn and today's topic is pregnant while breastfeeding. And this covers kind of a lot of questions like, is it possible to get pregnant while breastfeeding? And then if so, what are the symptoms and signs on what happens if you were to become pregnant while you are breastfeeding? So like most of the topics on my channel, I like to educate from experience. So I am surprised to report that I have become pregnant while breastfeeding. Chase is currently 6 months old. You're 6 months old. Yes, you are. And I recently found out that I was pregnant again. And I was blown away. So I wanted to just kind of relay to you guys my experience and the steps that I need to take moving forward. So I am breastfeeding Chase. I guess you can't technically say he's exclusively breastfed because he is in daycare for about 40 hours a week. So I work full time in the IT industry and I send Chase to daycare. I do pump at work and I send him bottles of milk, but obviously there's a big gap. I did speak with my doctor about this and he wasn't really concerned about it. I was not on birth control. I did take the Heather pill for a little bit, but the pharmacist actually called me and urged me to discontinue use. She said it's not safe to take while breastfeeding. So I don't know if my doctor just prescribed me the wrong thing or if there was some other issue, but she told me not to take it, and taking it made me feel like a crazy person. So I literally stopped taking it. It just did not work out for me. That was just my own personal experience. I had a procedure done and I did at that time mention to my doctor, you know, that I wasn't taking that birth control anymore and I wanted to switch to something else. But at that time also my fiance actually got a doctor referral from my doctor about getting a vasectomy. So we were pretty much done having kids. We weren't interested in having more. Oh boy. So let's talk about the signs of pregnancy while you're breastfeeding, especially if you're not looking for this, you're not expecting to become pregnant. You should be aware of the following things. So the first thing that I noticed was that I started taking my heartburn medicine again. I only have issues with heartburn while I'm pregnant, and I was taking just about the maximum dosage. It wasn't every day, so I wasn't alarmed. I just kept just kind of blowing it off, thinking I'm eating something wrong. If you are having an increase in heartburn or a change in heartburn or something like that, definitely take note of that, okay? The next thing that I noticed, and this probably won't be relevant to a lot of people, but I think that this is specifically because I was breastfeeding and pregnant at the same time, was that I started having really bad shin splints again. I was a runner. I've been a runner pretty much since I was between 10 and 12 years old. I always loved to run. And I really have gotten my nutrition and everything down to a science, and I wasn't really running a lot. That's the other thing. I haven't been running or walking any more than usual. Our family's been going for family hikes and stuff like that, but nothing like extreme. Like I'm not training for a marathon or anything right now. And I started having really bad shin splints, and now looking back at it, I do believe it's because both Chase and this new baby were leaching minerals, nutrients, whatever from my body, and I think that increased my shin splints. The next thing, and this is kind of typical of pregnancy, but it was just so much worse, was extreme fatigue. Really bad fatigue. Even after between 8 and 10 hours of sleep, a night solid sleep, I was falling asleep at my desk and I started to think that I was sick. At the same time as that was happening, I had very difficult time regulating my body temperature. So I would be like freezing cold and have my heater on when everyone else in my office was like really hot. And then like on the flip side, like later, I would be extremely hot and overheated and couldn't take the heat, and it was just a mess. I just couldn't regulate my body temperature. And I noticed that every night, right as I'm about to fall asleep, my body temperature just seems like it's plummeting. Like I just get really, really cold, and then I wake up an hour later and I'm like sweating and I have to kick off all the blankets. So between all of those things, a lot of women who are breastfeeding report different elements of nipple tenderness too while breastfeeding when they find out that they are pregnant. And I would say that I didn't necessarily notice that. I just noticed that the pain changed. Chase is teething. He hasn't cracked any teeth through yet, but I did notice that when he was pulling or twisting, it was just a different kind of pain. It was like a sharper pain. It wasn't the normal pain that I feel like in my nipples. So far, I haven't noticed any issues with like breast tenderness or anything like that, but I did notice a severe reduction in the amount of milk I'm able to produce for Chase. Chase does co-sleep with me, and he feeds all night long, and I'm talking like all 8 hours. He will be like on and off the boob all night long, suckling in his sleep and eating. So we do eat a lot, don't we, buddy? Do you see yourself? Do you see yourself? Yes, yes you do. Yes you do. Yeah, good boy. People have already made note that my skin looks different. I have been asked by a few people if I've started using a new product, if my skincare regimen has changed at all, and if I had any foundation that I liked, because they just said that overall my skin looked to be glowing. I have the pregnant glow. They've even said, you look like you have the pregnant glow, and it's just, I just do. For me personally, I've had all these signs and symptoms. Oh, and total moodiness. I've just been moody and an extreme increase of appetite. So all of these things combined, if you are experiencing all of these things, any of these things, one of these things, they'll probably creep up on you gradually over a couple of weeks, okay? If you're noticing these things, take note. Like myself personally, I was extremely in denial. I truly did not believe that I could become pregnant while breastfeeding. Between my son and my daughter Oona, when I was pregnant with her and had her, I wanted immediately to have my second child and just get them as close together in age as possible. And by the time she was about 18 months old and I still wasn't able to conceive another child, I started talking to like my midwife, and I even got a referral to a fertility specialist, and they encouraged me to wean Oona. I think I also had to go gluten-free, and I like did like just like all this stuff, like tracking everything, and it was like just this really, really overwhelming experience and really hard. And before Oona turned 2, I did find out that I was pregnant with my second child, who was of course Killian. And so given that experience that I had prior to the experience that I'm having right now, I truly, absolutely, without a doubt, 100%, I was 100% convinced that it was not possible for me to conceive a child within the first year, if not the first 2 years of having a baby. I did, and now I have to alter this plan more than likely, I did plan on breastfeeding Chase until he was 2. So at this point, I do have my doctor's appointment tomorrow. I'm honestly not sure how pregnant I am, but it's very likely that this next baby will come when Chase, just shortly after Chase's first birthday. So I'm having almost Irish twins. That's pretty crazy for a person that truly believed they couldn't become pregnant. I more than likely conceived this next child when Chase was 4 or 5 months old. So I just wanted to give everybody my experience, because it is not very common to become pregnant while breastfeeding. That is very true. It's not common. So it is not common. It is not common at all to conceive a child while breastfeeding, especially the amount that I have been breastfeeding Chase. I just now have started to supplement Chase with formula, just so that I make sure that I am leaving some nutrition for my other baby, and also out of concern that maybe I wasn't giving enough nutrition to Chase. So I guess that's when the what am I doing now? I've definitely increased my calorie count, not willingly, but because my body literally told me to. I've been starving to death. And I increased my calorie count, and I still feed Chase breast milk all night long. And anytime I'm with Chase, he definitely eats breast milk. He's definitely been eating some baby food, and he's been happy with that. You hungry again? You hungry? But I have been supplementing Chase while he's at daycare. Now he's on formula at daycare. He drinks 6 to 9 ounces of formula at daycare a day, and then he has 1 packet of baby food. But for the most part, while he's with me, he does most of his eating. He's never, and all of my kids were like this, they've never been big on breastfeeding. They've never been big on bottle drinking or drinking bottles or formula or breast milk or whatever if it's not from a boob. And that's just been typical for all of my kids. So yeah, we're supplementing more baby food, which Chase has really liked his baby food. He loves sweet potatoes. You love your sweet potatoes. And he's now having formula while he's at daycare, but like I said, only 6 to 9 ounces. So it's not a lot, but it is what it is. So please, I would love to hear somebody else's experiences, or if this has happened to them, please leave your questions below. If you have had other symptoms, please post them below so that other viewers can learn from those as well, okay? Thank you so much for watching. It means the world to me. If you've made it this far, I would love to have you as a subscriber. We can talk about more baby-related things. We're gonna be talking about all the baby things. Obviously, Chase is 6 months old, and he's gonna be a big brother already. So we got lots to talk about, don't we, Chaser? Don't we? Okay, say bye-bye. Bye-bye.